громадою і ромськими громадами. І тут би я б дуже вас хотіла попросити, ви можете поділитися досвідом і успіхами в цьому процесі. Дякую.
Thank you. I will start by saying a few words about our mandate. So ODIHR's work on Roma and Sinti issues is based on the action plan on improving the situation of Roma and Sinti within the OSC area. And it provides also a set of commitments for the participating states, all 57 states. And the guiding principle in the action plan is for Roma with Roma, which means that each policy and strategy should be developed and implemented with the active participation of Roma and Sinti. And they should be truly participating in all the decisions that affect their lives. And special attention is given to Roma and Sinti women in the action plan. They should be taken into account in the implementation of policies and programs. And they should be able to participate on equal basis with men. And what this means in our work is that when we implement activities in field of Roma and Sinti issues, in addition to national and local authorities, we also consult and engage with relevant experts and representatives of Roma, civil society organizations. And in line with our action plan, we support the capacity building of Roma and Sinti civil society, and we also promote participation of Roma and Sinti activists, including women and youth. And in the action plan, the states have committed to enhance the participation of Roma and Sinti in public and political life. And one of the ways to ensure that Roma and Sinti people can participate is to have access to documents, including birth certificates and identity documents and health insurance certificates. And ODIHR has been monitoring the situation of Roma in Ukraine since the beginning of crisis in and around Ukraine, and made a visit and situation assessment report on the basis of the findings of the visit. And one of the main challenges that is facing Roma is the lack of personal documents, and it complicates access to other basic rights and services such as housing and healthcare and education and humanitarian assistance for IDPs. And the Ukrainian strategy on Roma integration and the National Action Plan for its implementation, they both recognize that that there is a significant number of Roma who are without documents, and there is a need to address this situation. But it seems that there is little progress in this area. So in the past 3 years, ODIHR has had a project on Roma inclusion in Ukraine, and one of the areas that we have been working is addressing the obstacles that Roma face in accessing documents. And we have done this in mainly in 2 ways: supporting the Ukrainian authorities to gain a deeper understanding of the situation with regard to access to documents for Roma, and then also increasing cooperation between national and regional authorities and then Roma civil society organizations and organizations that provide legal aid to Roma. And we have organized activities such as expert seminar in 2015, which brought together different stakeholders for the first time to discuss these matters. And on the basis of the recommendations of this seminar, ODIHR commissioned a baseline study to map the situation, the legal framework, and the current practices in different areas in Ukraine. And in May this year, we organized together with the State Migration Service a roundtable meeting in Odessa on access to identity and civil registration documents for Roma. And as an outcome of this roundtable, the participants developed the Odessa Declaration, which provides a set of recommendations on how to overcome these obstacles. And both the baseline study and this roundtable, they highlighted the importance of state and civil society cooperation in this area. And one of the recommendations was to establish an expert body to develop and coordinate this work. And so that this expert body would consist of both relevant ministries and Commissioner for Human Rights, but also Roma civil society organizations that have experience in this area. And then another area of cooperation is awareness raising and information, providing information to Roma communities on the importance of obtaining documents, and also explaining the procedures. And especially this is important in the areas where there are Roma settlements. And underlying this recommendation is the need to build trust and cooperation between authorities and Roma community and civil society. And it was recommended that the authorities genuinely consult the Roma community and include them in their work, and also develop joint projects with civil society organizations. And the baseline study found also a good practice in state and civil society cooperation. In Odessa region there is outreach to the community. So the aim is to increase the number of registered Roma, and the authorities, the regional authorities, held a series of meetings with local Roma communities and consultations with women in maternity hospitals. And they delivered information about birth registration and clarified the procedures and encouraged them to register children right after the birth. And this was done in close cooperation with Roma NGOs, and this was seen as an important element. And there were also other activities such as newspaper articles and TV appearances and meetings. And as a result, there was an increased number of Roma that were registered in birth registry books in Odessa region. And there are some good practices also from other OSCE states that can be shared and have been shared, for example, from Serbia. And there was a visit of Ukrainian authorities and civil society representative visiting Serbia this summer. It was organized by the UNHCR, and we were also participating in that visit. So ODIHR is ready to continue supporting Ukrainian authorities and civil society organizations and Roma community to work together with also UNHCR and other international partners in this area, so that there should be sustainable solutions in this area for Roma.
Дуже дякую, Каті. Дуже дякую, Каті. Ну, і це було б нечесно, якби я вас не запитала про пріоритети на наступний рік.
Well, we very much hope that there would be this kind of expert body established between the, for example, Ministry of Justice, State Migration Service, Ukrainian Commissioner for Human Rights, and Roma civil society experts and other legal experts that formulate this body to coordinate and develop the work further, and also later on the regional level.
Great. This is a very useful, very specific and very measurable, as we say in project management. Дуже дякую, пані Каті. І на завершення першої частини панелі, я зараз хочу передати слово своєму колегі Маркові. Тільки б хотіла подякувати всім нашим учасникам і учасницям першої частини дискусії. Я думаю, що ви до мене приєднаєтесь в цьому. І знов-таки, передаючи слово Марку, хочу зазначити, що сьогодні в Україні особливий день, сьогодні День Святого Миколая, і я, в принципі, не випадково вас запитувала про пріоритети, тому що я просто хочу всім нам побажати, щоб мрії і пріоритети ставали реальністю. І на цьому передаю слово Марку. Дякую.